All right. Well, thanks for joining everyone on our training session this afternoon. Today we'll be going through Google Ads and learning how to make up or how to set up your first Google Smart campaign. So there's a few bits and pieces that go into this, including the Google Ads themselves. But prior to that, we'll just quickly touch base on Google My Business and setting up a few settings in your Google Analytics account to help support these ads. So if you've got any questions along the way, just raise your hand and I'll try and get to those during the video or towards the end if we need a bit more time. All right, so we'll take a step back from the ads right now. We'll just talk about Google My Business, or GMB is the short term for it. So generally in our franchise business, you'll have that set up for you, and it's just a matter of you logging into that. You'll get an email asking you to log in and accept responsibility for maintaining that. When you do, you log into a screen like this, and there's a few parts in here that you need to make sure that you're filling out. So when you log in, there's just these options on the left-hand side. I'll just go through the most important ones of these. We've got the posts option, and you can post directly into here. This is like a blog. But we also do have some social media managers that you can work with, or you can use SocialBee yourself. So SocialBee is a software for blogging that actually pushes out to different social media platforms. And from what we've seen, SocialBee is the best one for connecting to a Google My Business account and pushing those blogs into this post section as well. All right, so info is probably the most important part to get right here. So when you come in here, you just make sure that you've set your business up in the right categories for a start. You're comfortable with the primary categories that you're set up in. You may have no location. So if you don't have a display home, you can set this to be no location and you're relying on your service areas instead. So you may have a display home, in which case you'd put that physical street address in there. All right, so the service areas hopefully should be pretty self-explanatory. Just anywhere that you will build, any region that you would build in, you'd put that location into this list here. So if you don't do that, you stand a chance of not showing up in the right searches when people are searching for builders in those areas. All right, just a point about this location as well. When we set that up for you, we need to put in a physical address, and Google verifies that address, usually with a postcard. So this is a physical postcard that will get sent out in the mail. So when you do get that, just connect with us and let us know the details on that postcard. There'll be a code on that we need to type in to verify the physical address. All right, so you may need to make sure that your trading hours are set correctly. So you may trade on the weekends, or you don't want people calling you after certain times. You can sort of specify your timings here. All right, another important one is your phone number. So in the case of Integrity franchises, you'll all have a 1300 number to use. So just pop that into there. And your website, pretty self-explanatory as well. Make sure you get that right. Best practice to use the secure version. So we want the HTTPS as part of your web address here. All right, services, another one to have a bit of a look at as well. So your primary category might be custom home builder, and you can list other services that you provide. So you may be able to add your home design or architectural design or something similar into these lists here. All right, and over here we've got insights here. These are just a few stats around how people are finding you in Google search. So you can spend some time to look at the things that people are typing in to find your business. All right, reviews on this left-hand side here. This is where you'll manage your reviews. So as you get a 5-star review, you may like to come into here and reply to these people, thanking them for their review. All right, messaging is one option. You can turn that on to message directly with clients. I haven't had a great deal of experience with that yet, as we've got some other platforms that are on the website to manage that instant messaging. But photos is a definite one to look at here. So make sure you load it up with lots of nice photos of your designs. You can see here we could add a cover photo or even a video if we'd like to. Should be as simple as just clicking on the plus button and dragging photos into here. All right, so that was just a quick overview of GMB. And so we generally like to try and get that set up in the first place before we start doing Google Ads. And the next thing, which we have covered in another topic before, is Google Analytics. There's just a couple of settings we might like to get right prior to setting up ads as well. So this is a Google Analytics login here. So you log into your account. And from the bottom left-hand side, there's an admin option. So make sure we select that one. If you've got a few websites, just make sure you've selected the right details here. So you're in the right account, you've selected the right property and the correct view here. So if you're using it just for your single business, these settings will be there by default and it should be the only one you can select. So the settings I'd like to set up prior to doing any Google Ads is this goals section here. All right, so this account has no goals in here. There's nothing in this list. So we'll click on New Goal. So there are lots of options in here, but this is probably the simplest things to go through and set up. So the simplest thing to do is just select on this custom option and click on Continue. At the very least, we want to monitor Contact Us. So the goal we're trying to measure here is anyone that fills out the Contact Us form, we want to know that they have completed that goal. So the way we'll do that with our websites is just set that name, we'll choose a destination. So click Continue on that. So because we selected destination, it's asking for a website address. All right, so I'm just going to paste this in here. So all of our websites are set up the same way. You'll need to make sure you get your business name in here correct. So essentially, whenever anyone fills out a contact form, they get sent to this page, which would be inh.com.au/your franchise name /home/contact thank you. So essentially, whenever they've hit that, that means they've already filled out the form and they've landed on this thank you page. All right, so we'll just save that one. And another one you might like to do, that'll be enough just to get you started. Another one is the mailing list. So when people sign up to the mailing list, they are taken to a similar page at the end, thanking them for subscribing. So if we click on New Goal here, do the same, custom. Mailing list sign up. Doesn't really matter what you call that, just make it something that's meaningful to you. Again, we'll choose destination. This time it'll be your franchise name, home, mailing list, thank you. And we'll save that one. All right, so essentially we've set up two goals here. And this is helpful just for analytics anyway. So even if you're not using Google Ads, this is nice to see how many goals you're hitting by people landing on your web page from SEO type benefits. All right, so now we'll start working on setting up your first Google ad, a Google Smart campaign. So probably the easiest way to find Google Ads is just to type that into Google. Just type in Google Ads. And it looks like they've got their own ad right here that we can click on. So there's also this section here that if you fill this out and follow through the prompts here, you should get a code that you can use to get $100 in credit. So that's a good start for you. All right, I'll just click this Get Started button. All right, so I've got a number of accounts here, so I've got an option to select one of these, but you'll probably just have the option to create a new Google Ad account. So I'll do that as well. All right, so we have a few options here. So it's, what are we trying to achieve out of this ad? Are we trying to get more calls? Are you trying to get more people to your website? Or more people to visit your physical location? So it's just slightly different ad settings, and Google gears that to be sending to the right people to get these types of responses. So in most cases, we'll set this to websites. We want people to go to our website, fill out a contact form. All right, so this makes getting started a bit easier if you've already set up your Google My Business account, which we've just gone through. So I'll select this one. All right, so there's a few options here. So we need to choose where we'd like to advertise. So you can do Australia-wide, but in most cases that's not going to be appropriate. You only build in a certain location. So you need to think about either the region that you're building in, or people that might live in a metropolitan area outside your region. You might want to target that region as well, potentially. All right, so a couple of options. We can set these ads to only go to people near a specific address. So if we typed in, say, Coffs Harbour, give us a region here. So we can set that we'd like to send this ad to everyone within 65 Ks of the radius of Coffs Harbour. And I'm looking at this, and it's probably not quite a broad enough area. So we might have to go through this specific region here. So we'll start off with Coffs Harbour, and essentially you just need to build up all these regions. But I have found smaller areas like Karora, Emerald Beach are probably not going to show up in this search here, which they don't. So I found what you need to do is actually find the postcodes that you're interested in. So we start typing in some postcodes. What I'm doing here is you type the postcode in. Sometimes there's lots of US type postcodes that show up first, and you'll need to put a comma after your postcode and start typing the states that you're interested in this case, New South Wales. So we can mix and match a bit. I think Grafton might show, which it does. So we just start building on the areas that we're interested in serving these ads to. So I don't think there's any limit to that. It's just a matter of working through all of these and finding a region that you're interested in. All right, click on next to that one. Actually, I'll just get back for a second. You'll notice as you're filling these regions, it tells you what your potential audience size is. So based on these regions, we've got an audience size of 245,000 people per month. So click on next there. And these are the keyword themes. So the way that these smart campaigns work is you give it a theme, and slowly over time, it tries to work out what people are searching to land on your site, and it slowly builds up keywords based on that. So these are just themes around your keywords. So in here, there's a couple of options we can select. Slope block home builder looks good. So as you type in an extra theme, some more options can show up that might be useful as well. Duplex builder. Let's click next on that one. All right, so based on the website that we've given in this wizard here, it's actually come up with some headlines and descriptions for us. So you may like to try and adjust those. Something that makes a bit more sense. So as you're typing into here, you'll see the preview changes to reflect what you're typing in. All right, so I've just clicked the ad types here. So it's just showing what they'll look like on different devices. All right, so this is where your ad will lead the visitor to. So if they do a search in Google, they find your ad and they click on it, they'll be taken directly to this page. Now, what you can do is we've just set up a pretty general type ad here, which is going directly to the home page of Coffs Coast. You may like to set one up for something like, say, house and land packages. So in this case, you would do, we can enter the website address and we just type in inh.com.au/Coffs Coast / house and land packages. And you can gear all your keywords around house and land packages in the Coffs region. So you may like to do both of those. You could do a more general custom home type one. And once you finish that, you could go through and create another one for house and land packages. All right, so the next one is a budget. So what Google's doing here is giving you some recommended options here. So it's recommending $19 a day, which comes into nearly $600 a month here. And it will tell you how many people you might reach and how many people might click on these ads. You do $10 a day. And the other option here is enter your own budget. So if you wanted less than that amount, you can. But if you see this slide, you can slide this bar up and down. It's telling you what your daily ad spend will be and the amount of people that you're reaching and the number of clicks you'll get. So you can see that the more that you pay, the more clicks you get. And this little range here in that blue section is just telling us what a typical bid might be. So competitors are all in this range, which means if you're at the low end, your ads won't serve anywhere near as often as they would for a competitor, and they might be served in position 3 or at the bottom of the page instead of the top of the page. So the higher your budget, the better ranking you'll get in this Google search. So in this case, I'm just going to select this $10 daily average for this exercise. All right, so we've just got our campaign details. We can go through and change these if needed. All right, we're all done. All right, so you'll end up with a page like this now. And as your ad starts to be served over the next month or so, you'll start getting search phrases in here, which we'll have a look at in just a moment. But you can make changes to this ad as well. So if you come in here and see that it's not performing well, or you'd like to make a change to the text, you can click on this edit button and make whatever changes you need. So with these smart campaigns, Google will also make modifications to that text just based on what they think people are looking for. All right, I'm just going to pause this ad. So if you'd like to pause it for a while, you want to stop spending, you can just hit this pause campaign button. And it will just sit there without costing you anything. So important to realize what we've done here is when an ad is running, you only pay for the clicks. So it doesn't matter how many times it's shown to people online. If they don't click it, you won't get charged, which is good for your hip pocket. All right, I'll just show you another ad that's been running for a little while here. So this is the same dashboard we had just a minute ago. And so you can see how many impressions. So that's the number of times your ad has been viewed by someone. So in this case, we're looking at a month's worth of data here, last month. So it's been viewed 17,000 times. We've had 780 clicks from that ad. There's the amount we've spent. But this section here is our goals that we set up. So in Google Analytics, we set up the goals for the contact pages. So in this particular one, I've got 2 separate goals set up for 2 different types of contact pages. So we've got 4 of each of those. And with these smart campaigns, there's also this thing called smart goals, which Google sets up. So essentially, it's just saying Google's determined that the click from this particular person, if they've reached one of these smart goals, was a worthwhile visitor to your page. So it might not be any specific thing they've done, but they might have spent X number of minutes on a particular page, or they've spent X number of minutes browsing through your site. All right, so you can see the keyword themes we've got running here. And this is the search phrases. So as people are searching Google, these are the terms they're typing in. And if they're clicking on your ad, it gets recorded in here as a search phrase. So you need to periodically come into here, say once every few weeks, and click on this Manage button. So you can review what's going on. Especially what I like to do here is look at terms like this. So Integrity New Homes cans. It looks like it's had 26 impressions, which isn't a great deal, and 16 clicks. But each one of those clicks is costing money. So you're bidding on that, and every time someone clicks on this ad because of that, it's taking money out of your budget. All right, so the reason why I'd look at that is, okay, we've got a few of them. We've got, say, Integrity New Homes Cairns, Integrity Homes Coffs Harbour, Integrity New Homes Brisbane. I did a search just before this webinar in Google. And what I've typed in here is Integrity New Homes Brisbane. And straight away, we've had an ad serve here. So we've got this ad, presumably for Brisbane. We've typed in these key terms. And it's a paid ad here. So if anyone clicks on any of these links, it's going to be a charge to our account. But if you scroll down the page, it's quite a specific term. So people are intentionally searching for Integrity New Homes in Brisbane. And you can see, even if there was no ad there, every single link on this page is to do with integrity anyway. So there's no point in paying for that click. So one thing I'm looking at here is there's also a phone number on this ad, which is a mobile. I'm just going to click on that About Us as well. And it's taken us to the Sunshine Coast page. So even that in itself is a little bit misleading. If someone's looking for Integrity New Homes Brisbane, but they're clicking on an ad that's taking them to the Sunshine Coast, it's going to be a wasted exercise. People leave the page very quickly, costs you money, and they didn't get what they were looking for. All right, so I close that out of the way. So the way to fix that is to make sure if you see these terms that you don't want people finding in their searches, we can just untick this. And that won't trigger that ad to be shown to anyone searching for that term anymore. So the reason why we can do that is because we've invested a lot of time historically in our SEO efforts, so search engine optimization. So we've gone through that in depth in previous webinars where you work on the content of your page to serve organic results in the Google search. So if you look at that, like this, just this South Coast one, we've got 10 there. So if it's 40 cents a click, like that's $4 in the month that we didn't need to spend and could have been pushed into some of these other terms. All right, so do we have any questions there? I'm drawing to the end at the moment. So if anyone's got a question, raise your hand. All right, looks like that's a wrap. All right, thanks for joining everyone, but I'll pop this video into our online Heights session and onto Workplace in the not too distant future. Catch you next time.